Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and I am back recording another How to Frankenplan video. This one all about these lovely pages, the currently pages. So I've got a couple of planners here, and I wanted to walk you through a couple of different things that I have noticed with Frankenplanning and really trying to figure out what to do with this dashboard page. Now this page has depending on the planner and the videos that you're watching, sometimes people call this the dashboard page. Some people call it a currently page. And you might be wondering why it's called a currently page. The main reason for it, I'm gonna set this to the side so you can kind of see this. I pulled an older planner that I have, and the main reason why it used to be called, still is called, a currently page, is that in older editions of this page, the one that's right before the divider, it used to have like this section that has like currently loving, thankful for, crushing on, going, random acts of kindness, excited for, and reading. And the page, depending on the planner and the style of the planner, would have a different like kind of list of prompts for you to just log what you were currently thinking of and kind of doing with each planner. So that's why it is called the currently page. Nowadays, it's a little bit more neutral. I'm showing you this one right here, which is a Mickey and Minnie planner, and it has a lot of design elements on it, but there are other versions of it that are fairly neutral. So here's another example of a more neutral version of it, and like with even more current planners, they're even more neutral than this. So these are just examples that I pulled just to kind of talk you through how I Frankenplan with the currently pages and make sense of how it fits into the flow of my system. So what do we do with the currently page when, basically it's set up to where, generally speaking, the July is right here and the divider is right here, and then all your weekly pages is right after. Now in Frankenplanning, since we're combining and moving around a bunch of planners, a lot of people like to keep their last page right here, the one with like the end of the month. They like to keep that page, even though half of it is last month's planner, just leave this page in there and leave all the rest of the July pages. And I think that's totally fine to do that. That's the simplest way of doing it. But I like to be just a little bit extra and just do something a little bit different. And so I'm going to talk to you about what I do. Now, again, just to show you, I have my Frankenplanner here. I'll show you in a second what I do. Just to show you, like, just with a clean version of this, what this looks like. So let's just say that I'm setting up for June. Now June, obviously here has the currently page. I want to keep this for June, but I also want to keep the June monthly and all the June weekly pages all together. And so what I'm going to do is just take all of this, and this is the section that I would put into my June Frankenplanner. The page with the June currently page, the June monthly, and all the June weekly pages all the way up until the July currently page. And then when I shift over into July, I would keep this currently page. All of this would go into a different little setup, my archive, and then I would take my July currently page and then the July pages monthly and weekly. Sorry if you hear noise. Sophia's with me and she's just entertaining herself with some songs right now. So that's the simplest way, is just to like leave that one extra page kind of floating loose. And of course, if that's how you Frankenplan and you're okay with that, then obviously it's the simplest solution. And I personally think that Frankenplanning can already be very complicated, and so why make it more difficult than you need to, right? So if that system works for you, then you can totally do that. But for me, I like to make it just a little bit extra and just do something a little bit different. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in my current planner, but I'm going to set it up first with this blank set of planner pages that I've got. And I do want to, in terms of talking about these two different ways, the first way, again, is just to keep the page as is and put it straight into your planner. So I do have versions of this where I've just used the page as is. Here's the July divider. I used it as intended, and that's pretty much it. But the second way that I'm going to talk about here is how I personally currently do it. And so I'm going to show you that these are two separate planners here. It's a May and a June and a May and a June. It's just two different planners, and so I have them set to the side. What I like to do is make a decision on which set of currently pages I like to use. So I'm going to flip it around like this, and I will just go ahead and tell you I do prefer the more neutral version. I do have other versions of like currently pages, but this is just the one that I picked up out of my stash of blank pages. And so here's the set that I have. I like this set of pages better. Now, when I'm setting this up for like a full year, I do go ahead and get all 12 months of these pages and like take all of them and set them to the side. All right, for this, I'm just doing basically a month. All right, and I'm in fact going to be doing June. Am I doing June? Yes, I'm doing June. Right, so what I'm going to do is, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to pull the June and July, but just keep in mind that I'm really only going to be using the June to set up the months. And I'm going to take this and set it to the side. Because I want to use this set of currently pages, these pages now will be missing the very last week. Now, this is a monthly layout, so it has a notes pages, and I feel like that's less kind of like damaging to like reusing these pages. So, you know, that works out two different ways for me. One, I'm not like losing a week, and you know, I can still use these pages as is, just minus the notes pages. And two, I'm getting a set of currently pages, right? So it's like a win-win situation. Now, if I had chosen this set, you can see here that I would be losing the last week of pages here. So, you know, it's one of those things you just kind of have to make a decision. I personally have so many planners that it'd be totally okay for me just to pull the currently pages that I like and, you know, be okay with losing the pages. But here I just lucked out that it's a notes page. But regardless of all of that, here's a set of currently pages that I want to keep. And here are the months, right? So here's May and June. Now again, I'm just going to do June for demonstration purposes, but for June, obviously it comes with a currently page. But one of the things that I personally like to do is, instead of having June and then July before the July divider, so it would be, you know, set up like this, where it's June before the July divider, instead of having it like this, what I like to do instead is have June be at the very end of the month. And so this is where having a second planner and picking the currently pages that I want would come in handy, right? So what I'm going to do is have June right here. It will be the June monthly, the June weekly pages, all the weekly pages. In this case, it's just, again, for demonstration purposes, but it's all the weekly pages. And then here, instead of using this July currently page, I'm going to paste instead right on top of it the June currently page. So that way all of June is together, right? And so June monthly, June weeklies, and the June currently page, all behind the June divider and the June tab. So that's pretty much how I do it now. I'm going to show you what it looks like in my current Frankenplanner. I do this only for one planner, but I like doing this just because, one, I'm using my pages, so that's the benefit. And the major thing for me is like to have that consistency and being able to use my planner pages. I like to have a set of 12 for the entire year that is consistent throughout. And for this year, I am using Sophia's memory book, an outdated teacher layout. And so the pages are like from all these like very random different teacher layouts. So like, I'll just show you an example here. Like I've already decorated this, but this is from, you can see it's like a green with like no like design down the spine. And then this one, oh, well, it's also green, but I've also have pages before that had like some speckles down the center. I'll eventually run out of these pages and I'll have to move into some with like rainbow lines down the middle. And so all of that's like, you know, it's all teacher layout, but it's all like different styles of teacher layout. And with all of that, the back page looks very different. So here's one example. So this is the July page. Because I'm using outdated pages, these pages are all out of order and they don't exactly flow. Here's like an April, you know, so they're all just kind of mixed up. I guess I could have used this one, but I don't want to use one of these and then, you know, one that looks like this and then one looks like a different teacher layout, you know, so I just want to keep it consistent for all 12 months. So what I did decide to do was get a set of 12 currently pages, and the currently page that I am using for 2022 looks like this. Now this page is from an outdated, it's partially outdated, so it was August 2021 to July 2022. So I have April, May, June, and July, 4 more months that are current, and then after that, it will be like, it will say August, but it'll be 2021 here, and the dates right here will be outdated. But I think that's okay, because as I'm using these, I'm just going to, you know, cover up the pieces that are outdated and be fine with it. Like right here, I can just use a black pen and just cover that up. Now, that's pretty much it. With all that being said, the way that I like to Frankenplan, you can see here, is just to keep the entire month together. And so instead of having one loose page at the beginning before the divider that goes for July, what I do instead is go ahead and tape this down. So that way right here, I have at the end of the divider, basically right before the next divider. So this is April, right? So May would go here. So this would be the May divider, but here's the April currently. And to me, that just makes more sense to have everything that's for April behind the April divider. And yeah, that's pretty much how I set this up. Now, just to kind of tell you what I do with these pages and like how they operate, I like to actually use them like currently pages where I pick a day in the month. Normally it's like around this time, so either like the 10th or the 11th, like mid-month, and I'll sit down and just kind of write out some of the things that I feel like are current things in our world. So what I do like to do is just kind of decorate it at a single point in the month. It could be at the beginning of the month, like April 1st, or at the end of the month, or whenever, right? I just tend to like do it whenever I remember to do it. Some months I have forgotten, like March, I definitely forgot. I didn't even touch this page, but now I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm doing these videos, and so I want to go ahead and decorate. And so just sneak peek wise, I'll record a separate video for this just because, you know, I feel like that would be more plan with me and less so like how to Frankenplan. But I went ahead and printed out some pictures that I'm going to use to decorate this currently page. And it's really just like, again, a snapshot in time on like a single day in April. What was this is for Sophia's memory book, right? So what was Sophia listening to, eating to, watching, playing, planning, drinking, loving, feeling, and celebrating? And I just picked those words randomly from like looking at like Google and some of the things that people like to track currently or like monthly for their young children. And so I just picked some random words that I felt like really spoke to the month of April. And I don't do this every single month, but I thought I would do it for April. And again, the one thing that remains consistent for me is using the exact same style of page for all 12 months. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, hopefully it made sense. I do both versions where the currently page is before the divider, but I personally prefer having the currently page be in the same set of pages as the divider itself. So all the April pages are in April instead of here. And like, this is my Frankenplanner, so all these are April pages. Just ignore this. This should be a May divider for the memory book. All right, so hopefully that made sense. I feel like I'm all over the place, but this is all of April for Sophia's memory book, right? And so the April divider goes with the April currently page, and all of it's behind the April tab. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I do prefer to switch it up and just use a different set of currently pages, but I also have done the other version. For both versions, I do like to just take a snapshot in time. So instead of trying to do something at a monthly level, I just pick one single day and just kind of do the entire page from that one day of some of the things that are currently happening. And yeah, that's how I use the currently page, as just like one moment each month. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video. Bye guys.